Welcome back to the Brew Talk podcast. My name is Johnny Mac 52199. Joining me is former Gold Glove Award winner last year and maybe future Cy Young Award winner this year. My guest at this time is RJ. RJ, welcome back to the podcast.
How's it going? Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. It's a little tough to hear former Gold Glove winner because I definitely didn't play up to that this year, but we'll run it back next year.
I mean, shit, you still got the Gold Glove coming to you, so at
Yeah,
least.
that was just that was a point of my game this year that without getting too into it too far, but that was a point of my game this year that I was really upset with. Is that typically my glove is very solid no matter what else is going on, and it wasn't that this year, so that was a little upsetting for me.
Well, before we actually get into this podcast, I know I just said something off stream to you. Bad day for us in general for baseball world. Of course, you being a
Yeah.
Tigers fan, me being a Phillies fan.
Yeah, good long game last night. Hurts to lose it 2 years in a row. Game five of the CS or DS rather. But you know what? There's always next year. It's what we tell ourselves to sleep at night. So
Shit, that's okay. I went off. It was the other night, and I said to my sister, "We are the Dallas Cowboys of baseball. Every year we think it's our year, and it just never fucking works. Never fucking works."
yeah, but at least you're not the Dallas Cowboys, because that's a franchise that I frustratingly cannot stand.
I don't think anybody can stand them, especially Jerry Jones's bug-eyed self.
Well, apparently Cowboys fans can, although I've heard that some fans are getting very frustrated with Jerry Jones, but. Um, I don't think anything's gonna happen there when you own I think that they are like number one in the world. I think for valuable franchise. I think so. I don't think Jerry Jones is selling that anytime soon, and there's very few people who would go buy that.
Shit, probably he's gonna sell his players more than he sells the team, but
Oh, absolutely. The only people that would turn around and buy something like that would be like a Bezos anyway. So it's like, who are you really going to sell that to?
nobody.
Exactly. And not many people are going to want to buy it.
What's your
Let me
freaking
buy a struggling franchise.
90s playoff wins? Like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah, yeah. That's all they have to go on.
So, let's talk about this season. Um, your stats on the website for pitching were 38 innings, 18 walks, 25 strikeouts. How do you think you felt on that aspect of on the mound this year? Did you think yourself like as one of our aces?
Definitely. I mean, uh, I don't know if Austin really has it most of the time, even though he thinks he does. No, but I'm kidding. I do feel like I wanted that ball in my hand more games than not. I felt really really good most games, if not every single game I was on the mound. I'd love to cut those walk numbers down in this league, and I tell it to everybody who pitches for us as well. The number one thing to do is just throw strikes. I mean, if you can get the ball over the plate, and most of the time hitters are going to get themselves out, hitting is just way too hard of a concept of a thing to do. And I really try to make sure that I'm a premium strike thrower. Um, but yeah, I mean, I love to pitch. I'm really happy that I got all the way through this year healthy, effective, and I felt like my stuff really played against the league this year. With that being said, I have a lot that I've taken away from a full year of pitching for this team that I know that I'm going to work on in the off season. Um, but I feel like overall, I was pretty happy. I'd like to throw a little bit more than 38 innings, but just incremental improvements. That's what I'm looking for.
Now, I think I'm gonna double check this before I actually say something. I think your ERA was under 4 this year.
I think so. I think it was.
Did you feel like it was that good of a season when you did take the mound this year?
Yeah, I had a couple of softballs in there. If I'm being honest with myself, I think I pitched twice against the Squirrels, once against the Blue Jays. not necessarily nobody's a bad team. Everybody, can beat anybody on any day, even in this league. Um, but definitely some of the lower teams, if you look at the standings this year. Um, but I do feel like I did have a pretty good season in that regard. I really try. I wiggled out of a lot of jams, man. I don't even know. I'd hate to see, but love to see how many pitches I threw this year because I definitely feel like most innings I pitched, there was somebody on base, and then I had to get out of it. So, um, but yeah, from a run scoring perspective, I did feel really good about what I did on the mound.
Did it feel like 38 innings this year for you?
I don't know. Um, like I said, I wish I kind of could have thrown more. I don't know where that more comes from. Maybe a couple games they only throw one or two more innings, and geez, we all know that when it's 95 degrees outside, it's kind of tough to keep going back out there. But definitely I want to keep throwing kind of guy, as I know Austin and a lot of our guys are too. So um, I don't know. I didn't feel super taxed this year, but I mean I think I looked at I can't remember what it was, but I looked at last year's numbers and I definitely only threw like maybe 15 innings, maybe that.
Yeah, that was a tremendous jump. And I know last year you were complaining about your arm hurting. Did that happen this year at all too, or?
No, I think I started to see some arm fatigue. But like I said, I felt really healthy this year. Really, really healthy, honestly. Um, I had an elbow issue towards the end of the year, last year, and some arm fatigue issues in the forearm, and none of that kind of crept back up this year, which I was really, really happy to see, because I was a little worried going into the year that I maybe hadn't fully healed. And then kind of August came around, and I was like, okay, this is where I started to feel a little hurt last year. And then I've played this fall, and I still feel pretty good this fall. Now my body is starting to say like, "Hey, we're ready to kind of take a break for a little while before we get into some off-season workouts." Um, but I do feel really good still, from a health standpoint. So I am really happy where I'm at, and hope to throw more next year.
Let's talk about your playoff game that you pitched in. 6 innings, 4 earned runs out of 5 runs, 4 hits, 5 walks, 5 Ks. How do you think that went for you this year?
Uh, I didn't want to come out. I did not want to come out of that game. I wanted if we're gonna lose that game, I wanted it to be on my arm the entire time. We, weren't necessarily scoring, but I felt like we were right there most innings. I can't remember what the final score was, but I feel like we were maybe tied like 2-2, or we were down 3-2 at one point. So we were kind of right there. Um, I do feel bad because I was targeting to get there early, and I had some work stuff creep up that kind of prevented me from getting there for the actual start, to warm up in time to start inning number one. So, but I felt pretty good. Like I said, I kind of worked out of a lot of jams. I had to throw a lot of pitches, but I was pretty happy with the performance in that game.
I
If
think
I could run it back, I don't know what I would do differently.
I think the final score was 10-5, 10-4. Should have been
Something like that, yeah.
15-10 though us if you get all the runners in. Which do
Yeah,
you
we left
think?
a lot of guys on towards the end of the season.
Yeah, do you think that was the biggest takeaway from the season that you wish you could change?
Yeah, we the two things I noticed on this team this year that we regressed in some respect from last year. I think our pitching was better overall. I think that comes from Austin probably throwing more innings and being here for a full season, myself throwing more innings and being here for a full season. Um, and I think that where we regressed in a little bit is the defense. I know I myself not a great defensive year. We were able to play Austin a little bit more defensively, which was an uptick. Um, but then I know we had like a lot of guys in and out of on vacations. We didn't have as many practices, so I feel like we definitely regressed in some respect, defensively. As far as like the errors go, right? We have like a stellar outfielder now in Devin, which is an amazing addition to the team, which forces us to put Ryan somewhere in the corners, which is just an upgrade to any corner position, really. But then in the situational hitting, I feel like was definitely a place that we regressed a little bit as well, is just not finding that hit with guys on base. And I'm by no means have ever claimed to be or ever probably will be a great hitter, but even myself, I mean, I wasn't even in most lineups because I just don't usually hit that well. So that's a place that again I would also like to improve. But I think as a team, we also really need to improve as well.
Yeah, looking back at the stats, I didn't really want to say this at all, but I think I touched on it with either Ben or Devin. It was pretty bad with hitting this year when I think me and Ortiz were the leaders, except for that last playoff game. So it's not a
Yeah,
good year for anybody at that rate. Nothing against
yeah,
Ortiz, but
yeah. Well, I mean, man, I wish Ortiz had come out to more games. He was on fire, man. I think 3 or 4 games in a row when he did show up, he had like a triple, a double, 3 or 4 singles. I mean, he was just absolutely on fire. It was like, dude, please. I mean, obviously life happens and we all have stuff to do, but it was like, oh, if he could have just been at every single game, I think that situational hitting would have been much much better.
yeah, especially you have him in the bullpen too. I mean, I don't.
Our only lefty.
I was gonna say I don't think that we see a lot of lefties in this league, unless I'm just
Uh,
high
the
or
only
something.
lefties. No, the only lefties I usually think of are that Oaks pitcher, and then maybe the occasional guy who just throws left-handed and they have to eat a couple innings or something. We don't see a whole lot of left-handed pitchers in this league.
Which Ortiz is a phenomenal pitcher. I mean, like I said a while ago, though, you and Austin, I think, are definitely on that Mount Rushmore now. With it's just between the two of you, there's like what was that 60, 70 innings that you guys ate up,
Yeah,
and to have
out of
your
16
ERAs that
games.
low, it,
Yeah,
it's crazy. Hats off to you guys.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I love pitching, especially in a year where, like I said, my defense wasn't maybe where I wanted it to be. I was happy to contribute on the pitching side of it a lot.
I don't think anybody's defense was all that stellar this year. I mean, and again, I'm the last person to talk, but um, I think in that last the Rattlers get well, not the Rattlers, yeah, the Rattlers game. There was at least 6 or 7 errors that I counted right off a
Mm-hmm.
hand. Of course, the one that stuck out the most was Mikey's error, which I'm sure that ate him alive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, all you can keep doing is making sure that you're, taking ground balls. I've kind of told myself like part of my off season this year is just to, try and take as many ground balls as I physically can when the weather's nice, just throughout the whole entire off season.
I do want to point out you did jinx yourself, and I want to say it was the Cardinals game. You mentioned to Austin you guys were going back and forth, and I remember you saying, "Yeah, I should let the first one go between my legs," and start laughing as you went out onto the field. And that first ball hit.
Yeah. Yeah, that field that I was not ready for the read on that field at all. And that definitely caught me by surprise. I can't remember if it was directly between my legs or if it just happened to go just under my glove off to the side or something like that. But it was I mean, I just missed it. Um, yeah, I remember. I remember. I don't think I said anything, but I do remember thinking to myself after that. I was like, "Oh, oops." They did not. That was actually not on purpose. I do promise you that. I might make that joke to anybody at any time, but I do promise you that there's no time I'm ever actively trying to make an error. I actually did that again to Austin in our fall game the other day. He was pitching, and I said, "I'm going to run and dive for a ball." And I'm gonna let it go by so that it just gets past me and nobody can back me up. And then a ball was hit and I had to run in on it. And I decided late to like slide for it. And I slid awkwardly and it just went underneath my glove. And I was like, I actually promise you that that was not on purpose. Very poor timing, but I promise you it was not on purpose.
Just away with words, aren't you, RJ?
Yeah, yeah. I can just apparently predict the poor things I'm gonna do. Never the good things. I can't go up there and be like, I'm gonna hit a home run and then hit a home run. But I can predict I'm gonna do something bad and then I'll do it.
Those last two playoff games that we had, which one stuck out to you the most? Obviously, with both being losses, but which one do you think was the I guess funner one to play in?
Well, for me, probably the one that I pitched in. That was probably more fun. I don't think I'll also ever see in this league, maybe occasionally, but I don't think I'll ever see a home run hit like the one off of Ben either. That was a fucking absolutely monster shot. I mean, I think I got that guy to ground out twice, and I was lucky to get that to happen. And I think he hit a double the other time. And for that dude, I've that was an absolute that was akin to the one last year that Austin gave up at Lee County, where it was just hit and it was kind of like that twilight like timing or whatever, and then all of a sudden you just couldn't see the ball anymore and it was just gone. And that was kind of the same thing, or when then it hit off the top of the scoreboard, it's like, holy crap, that dude absolutely smoked that ball
And that scoreboard is like far
out
back.
there. And
Yeah.
tall. It's very tall too.
And to
It's
hit
got to
that
be like
just
a what 20-foot sign or something. And
it has to be. And just hit that at the
oof,
top of this like tippy top too.
insane.
I feel
Sorry,
bad
Ben,
for
but
yeah.
that was an absolute shot.
I think we all feel bad for Ben on that one.
I mean, I feel bad for you, but at the same time, I am gonna laugh at you because that was a fucking just smoke show.
Oh yeah. I said that to him. I don't know if you've been listening to the podcast, but I said, dog, that yeah, let's just skip the topic.
Mm.
He's like, no, let's just talk about it. Let's talk about it. If you want to talk about it, let's talk about it. Um, with that being said, who do you think was the funnest team to play this year? And obviously, I'm not going to ask that second part, but who do you think was the funnest?
Oh, I don't know. I really like good competition, and I feel like the Rattlers, despite standings wise, I think being much higher than us, I feel like we played them really, really well, as we play most teams. Um, and I pitched, I think, in one of the games in the regular season before we ended up playing them in the playoffs, and I had a lot of fun playing them. I like playing good competition. I like playing close games. Um, I think that might have been the game that I gave up a walk off on. Ryan should have caught it. I'm just kidding. But I think that's the one I'm thinking of, and that was the Rattlers, and they were probably really fun. Because again, I just really like good competition.
I think the Rattlers are the only ones that didn't talk shit to us too, which is
That's very possible.
it's literally strange in this league.
Yeah, I mean, I like to talk shit too, so I guess I can't say much.
Oh yeah, everybody does. I mean, I'm not denying that, but it's weirder to face a team that's like so good that just doesn't talk shit. And I say this every year about the Oaks too. I mean, you rarely hear them complain too.
Yeah, yeah. I have enjoyed playing the fall with the Oaks. It's nice to meet some more baseball people and get to know them on a little bit more personal level. Since we all play in the area, and it's harder to find some people to do stuff with in the off season and stuff like that. So I'm happy to have met them, and they are really chill and normal people and easy to get along with and easy to play with. So I have enjoyed playing with them during the fall here, and I hope that relationship kind of extends to the spring and the summer when there's a chance to not only play in a spring league, but then when we play against them in the summer again, I hope to kind of have a good relationship with them so that it hopefully doesn't get chippy. At least if it gets chippy in a fun way.
Yeah, I was gonna say There's the difference between chippiness and the fun way, and fucking around with people, than just like flat out just being like, "Oh fuck you" type shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, not a dull moment in this league. So
Definitely not. It got there with almost every single team we played. We kind of pushed it to the brink.
I mean, especially again, this is not coming at the Cardinals. If you're listening, anybody's listening to it this way, but even the Cardinals said something this year, which was like, "Holy fuck, you guys are talking shit now too."
It just takes one person on the team to start it.
With that being said, are you aware of the 500 curse?
No. What is the 500 curse?
So I came into the league in 2021. Since then, we have not broke over 500. And I don't.
Like as a franchise?
Yeah. So the first season we did like 3 and I'm gonna say 12, but Matt's not ending up there. Um, so we only had 3 wins the first season. Second season was when we were the Makairas and we won maybe 1 game. Third year we won the American League title, but we didn't. I think it was like 6 or 7 games we won, including the playoffs. But one of those was a forfeit. And then this year didn't make it past. What was it, 5?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, I
forgetting a
think
season in
five.
there. I
We had
think.
we had five or six, well, last season. Last season we were what, 8 wins? We go 8-8. We almost went 500, right? Maybe a game below. Or no, we played 18 games last year. So did we go like 8-10 or something like that?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to check the math on that one, but
Because we started out, I think, on like a 4 game losing streak, and then Austin came in and saved everybody, and then I came in and proceeded to save everybody as well. Okay, but I do remember you guys saying that you guys were on a bad losing streak before Austin and I joined the team last year, and then we kind of turned it around and played honestly crazy good defense down the stretch last year, and then this year, yeah, this year was pretty tough as well. So interesting. I didn't know that. So what does that mean for next year? If we're like hovering around 500, does that mean that we get to have a good year next year?
I hope so. I hope we finally break the curse.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I've been saying it since I think since Dylan broke his arm last season that this team is just cursed. I don't know if
It's
you ever heard me say it in the dugout, but
I don't think I have, but we'll get there. I really think, and I really like a lot of the pieces we had this year, and we're gonna lose out on Sean next year, and hopefully everybody else comes back. Um, but I really think that we're moving in a good direction. I really do. I think we can pick up some good pieces in the draft. I have my opinions on who I would like to see us go after. I might try and attend the draft and give any advice that Austin or whoever else wants to listen to, John, whoever wants to do the draft. But I do really like where we're going. I like what we're doing.
and I also want to point out there to everybody listening that I was wrong about the draft. Um, Harley
I heard about this.
Harley hit me up a couple days ago, which that was our commissioner this year for the 18 plus league, and was like, "Who told you this about the draft?" I was like, my first year, I think it was my second year. Honestly, it's just I think that was just like the bad egg of the draft, and that's what I assumed it was from then on. So I am wrong. I apologize. he did he did inform me that the draft is not like that. So I know this is going out until like the week of Halloween, but I admit when I was wrong. Um,
It's all good. It's a learning product. I think we have a lot of guys that are willing to step up and help out with the team next year, and did it this year as well. Thank you, Sam, for the previous years and everybody else. But it's a learning process, and now we all get to learn next year.
oh yeah, and I, I think I'm excited to see what it transpires during the draft because I've said this in countless weeks. I think if we get maybe 1 or 2 guys that can actually throw and have that ability to go, well, who the hell are they throwing out? Is it RJ? Is it Austin? Is it this new guy or is it this other guy? I think that way, not as many teams get to see you and Austin throw, and I think that's an advantage.
Yeah, a third power arm would be really nice, and then filling in if guys start to struggle or guys can't show up. I feel like you can never have too many pitchers in leagues like this, and I think that a lot of our team would agree with that. I'd also really like to go see us pick up somebody that can hit as somebody who can't. Um, I would really like to see us go grab somebody who can hit, And if we're gonna go get some pitchers, I'd really like to see us get a lefty. I'd really like to see if we could find a lefty.
Can we find one of those guys that switch pitches?
That'd be pretty sick. Not gonna lie, that would be pretty sick. If you know anybody, let us know.
Yeah, please. Do you think, while we're on the topic of it, do you think that's what we're missing this year? Is what you just said?
Um, I don't know if it's really like we're missing it. There's a lot that I think we could have cleaned up, and we still would have been a good team with the makeup that we had. But as far as like clear upgrades, I would like to see a left-handed pitcher, potentially or hopefully like a power pitcher in that regards. Kind of like an Austin. It's hard to call anybody a power pitcher necessarily in this league. Like even myself, I know I'm just a junk pitcher, but that, and then I think we kind of said it as well, just somebody who can find that hit, when we need it most. That would be those two things right there. I think would have helped us a lot. And again, a lot of the pitching aspect is just having pitchers, right? I mean, there's so many games that it was like, okay, who do we have to throw today? And it's like, okay, well, if you throw Austin in there, who's playing third base? Okay, you throw RJ in there, who's playing shortstop? And so then you're moving guys around, and that's maybe where some of the defense fell off. And then it's like, okay, Austin pitched and RJ pitched, and how do we fill the last inning or so, or whatever it ends up being? So I don't know if it's necessarily what we're missing, but it's always a good place to upgrade.
I tell you what, from just sitting back and watching as much as I do, you hit the nail on top of the head. I mean, half of the game is just okay. Well, if we throw in so and so, who else is going to play that position?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, like you said, if we just I don't know. I feel like if we just get more guys out constantly, we'll be all right.
Yeah, yeah, and and I say that with all the love to like Mike and DJ. They're like, oh, okay, like we'll throw Mike or DJ at shortstop, but then I feel bad because they're coming off the field and they've either made an error because they're telling me that their arm or their elbow hurts, and it's like, well, that's not fair to them either. Um, So I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. So that's why it would be nice to have those guys that can rotate around, and like you said, yeah, if we can get out and just be constantly taking the grounders and everything, moving positions around, then maybe we'd feel a little bit more comfortable with putting guys in different places.
And that's exactly why I don't know if you heard about it throughout the season, but I was preaching to John and a couple others to bring back Jamari, because Jamari just for whatever reason just didn't want to play on the Bulldogs anymore. Um, from
Mm.
what I was told, or what I understood, I should say, because I gotta start being clearer now on on shit that I hear. But having him just take over at third when Austin's pitching, I mean, that's a big task.
Yeah,
Is is that side of the field too? I mean,
yeah,
and I know we can all attest for last year. I mean, just getting deep into the playoffs, even if it was by a forfeit. I mean, that next day against the Tigers, there was or the Oaks rather. I'm sorry, there was nobody really to pitch besides me.
hmm
Your arm was hurting. Austin just got done
hmm
throwing. Mikey just got done throwing.
yep, yep. We ended up throwing Ryan out there, which hey, he was a revelation this year. Honestly, Ryan's got a freaking arm, man. I was so happy to see Ryan pitching this year. To be honest, he had some good stuff. Love to see it more next year.
Which is crazy. I mean, but then again, I say this in practically all the podcast episodes. What can't he do?
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, and then he shows up every week, and it's like I can't even remember how old you are because you're just chilling with all of us goofballs that are 26, 27, and younger. And then he's faster than all of us, and he can throw better than most of us. And then he's like, "What are you talking about? I'm 40." And I'm like, "No, you're not. Get out of here. You're not."
Dude, the first time I met him, he was like, "Yeah, I'm 38." I said, "Bro, there's no fucking shot you're 38.
I
There's
know.
none."
I know. He's like double our age. It's like that's you that's not how. How?
And he made the joke. after the Cardinals game, he was saying bye to everybody, and I said, "You coming back next year?" He goes, "Yeah, of course. The old man still got a lot to prove." it's like it's like first of all, wait a minute, pause. What haven't you proved already?
Right? I don't know. I love that man though. He's honestly he's probably become one of my closest friends on the team this year, and I'm really happy for that. I'm really happy I've gotten closer to everybody on the team. To be honest, being here a full second year, and having moved last year from out of state, I am very very happy for all the friends that I have on this team. But Ryan has become a really good friend on this team, and I love seeing him every week, and outside of the week sometimes whenever I need a good haircut. There's a free plug for Ryan.
Can never find enough barbers in the area either.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I wish I lived closer to y'all for. Cause damn, it struggles out here trying to find one.
Yeah, and it's like everybody's expensive anyway. So, and now I have long hair, so it's like, well, why spend this much to go to, kind of an off the shelf place when now I know somebody who does really good work in the area. I'd rather give my business to them.
Exactly, and it's easier that if you trust somebody to let somebody cut your hair. I don't know. I mean, that
Yeah,
could just
exactly.
be. At least you
No,
agree. I
I
was gonna
agree.
say. I was
No,
gonna
I
say.
agree. So I actually very off topic, but I actually used to drive from Indianapolis back to Michigan to get my hair cut once every couple of months. Because I was just so loyal to my one hairstylist. And then I waited a while. I wouldn't let anybody else cut it in Indianapolis. I went and got like two haircuts in Indianapolis, and I wasn't a fan of it. So then I started just going to this one place, this like Latino shop, and they did great fades, but I wouldn't let them touch the top of my hair that I left longer, and so I just started cutting it myself. And then I would only go back to Michigan to get it cut every couple of months as well. And then I waited and let it all grow out so it would fix itself, and I went and got it cut for my wedding from the same lady. And people were like, "What do you mean you just still use the same lady in Indianapolis?" And I'm like, "Yeah, or in Michigan." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm loyal to her. Like, I'm not gonna go anywhere else to get it done." They're like, "You drive 5 hours for a haircut?" And I was like, "When I'm spending like $60, $70 on it, it's kind of almost worth the drive."
Yeah, it's insane. Especially like I'm sure you could attest to it. Especially like growing up and it was like only like 20, 25 at most.
Yeah,
To now
yeah,
it's just like, yeah, it's $60, $70.
yeah. And like I said, now I have the long hair, so it's like now I gotta get all this nice stuff done with it, and it takes much longer. And it's like, well, might as well pay somebody to do it well.
Do you think, off topic of haircuts, but do you think, I've heard it from a couple guys, and I think I agree with it most part. Do you think this team like does something different when the brotherhood is there? I mean, you see it in the group chats. Austin attests to it. He said, "I love how our hatred and love for Philly has come together in the group chat." Do you think that's something that we actually do well?
I think it's getting there. Again, newer to the team, and again, also, like I said, happier to kind of be one of the guys and with the guys more this year than I was last year. I definitely do think that it is a piece that is really starting to come together on this team. Is that we're all it's a group chat of friends. It's not a group chat for information about games. It's not a group chat for specifically what's happening with the team. It is a group chat of friends. And I think that's an important aspect as well, because people are willing to go in there and make fun of you for your team, even when their team hasn't made the playoffs in I don't even know how many years. They're willing to go in there and try and talk crap when they themselves don't show up to games at all. It's but it's fun, and it's meant with fun as well. It's not meant because anybody hates each other on this team. So I do think it is a piece that we're doing well, and it's still getting better, and I do like to see that as well.
And I like how nobody like. There's been a couple podcasts out there that I've done over the past years that's like I really thought people were gonna hate me for it, and then I get that occasional text like Sean was one that did it. I'm happy that you actually called so and so out, or called this person out, type shit. Because I
Yeah,
don't know, I feel like especially after this season, it's like you have to walk on eggshells around the league, and I don't feel like that's a part of the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I am kind of one that I like the accountability aspect, and I like, you know, people being accountable. Like, I mean, I've said it already a couple of times how I felt about my own performance this year, and by no means am I walking off the field after this year thinking that I'm the best player in the world. Probably when I was 17, 18, I probably would have. But I like the accountability aspect, and I think that is an important piece. And I do agree um, that around the league, it does feel like there are some things that you shouldn't or can't say.
especially this year. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and I mean, things there. The one thing, and from the couple of leagues and places I've played already, the one thing that I don't necessarily understand what the fix is, and I don't understand necessarily what even the problem is. You'll get what I'm saying in a second, but it's um the actions of the league and how do we change that culture? Because I've played when I was playing in Indianapolis, it would get really, really chippy, but everybody just kind of went home. And then like there was nothing going on or anything like that. And like even when people were getting so frustrating, and I've got a mom in the crowd who's yelling at me, and her kid is just screaming like a little girl and behind home plate just to try and be annoying. At the end of the game, we're telling them to shut up, and we're using language that we shouldn't be using, and blah blah all this other stuff. But at the end of the game, we all still just collected our stuff and we went home. um, Last year getting into it with umpires, and then getting into it with other teams, and then there's other stuff going on and extracurriculars, and it's like I don't really understand how to fix that, and I don't really understand where that's coming from. And that's an unfortunate part that I'm I guess still getting used to in this league, because I've just never really played in anywhere that's like that.
I do think that during the winter meetings, I know we joked about shit in the group chat about it, but I do think, like, in all honesty, during that winter meeting, I think everybody needs to have a sit down and just discuss, like, this is something you can't do moving forward. This is something if there is enough complaints about it, you will get suspended next year, because there's a lot of shit that goes on that obviously I'm not going to talk about. But besides that, I mean, if you take a look at the Tigers game, for instance, this year, I mean, that game, everybody will say it, no matter whose team they're on, you shouldn't been at a softball field.
Hmm. That's
That's,
the least of the problems, honestly.
yeah. And like the fact that there was nothing, if as far as to my knowledge, like I said, I should start clarifying that was done about that game. I mean, yeah, it is a men's league game, but to sit there and just give no fucks about the situation, kind of is kind of bullshit. And the year before, I think it was the year before, it was either 23 or 24. I think it might have been 23 because I don't think you or Austin arrived yet. There was an incident where I think it was the Tigers that told us. It might not have been, but they apparently during one of the games up in Raleigh during the weeknight, the same guys that were in our league had gotten into it with a couple people outside of our league that was in their league, and apparently guns were pulled and shots were fired all over a men's league game.
Mm,
And that's the shit that scares me to this day. I mean, like, because at the end of the day, if something happens, who the fuck's gonna do anything about it?
right.
Obviously, you're gonna have people trying to calm it down, but then what's to say somebody throws a punch and it just lands and hits the guy trying to calm things down?
Hmm.
And then what happens?
Yeah, yeah, that's the one thing my wife is always telling me. She's always like, let's get out of here. She's like, there's no place for us to sit here and wait for something to escalate. Just like go back to the game last year where DJ got into it with the umpire, and I think the umpire was pretty out of line, getting up into the face and challenging a player. And not that we handled the situation perfectly by any means, but you expect the umpires to kind of show up, and maybe this is unfair as well, but the umpires are there to officiate the game. They are there to keep the game somewhat in line, and that is asking a lot from them in some respects. But you're also asking them to do it with class and to kind of let some things go and to move on from it because unfortunately, I think, and I've had this discussion with a lot of my friends as well, that umpires are involved on every single pitch of a baseball game, and no other sport is like that. Um, and that's really tough because you're accountable for everything, and nobody's gonna like it. Whatever you say, pretty much nobody's gonna like it one way or the other, or somebody is not going to like it one way or the other, and that is a very unfortunate part of baseball. That unless you're playing in the majors, is always going to be a part of the game because we're not out here playing at Bond Park with the automated balls and strike system, right? As much as we'd probably all like that, and probably wouldn't because I also wouldn't get very many strike calls. Um, but that is an unfortunate part about being an umpire, but then getting into it with players and then being challenging towards the players, it's like why is this happening, where is that culture coming from? So bringing that all the way back, that is one piece that, like, my wife is always like, why are you guys getting into it so much, and also let's get out of here now that the game is over. Like, don't let this become the next piece of, or be the next story on the news. Like, let's get out of here.
I think there's a way that you should handle it. I mean, obviously, if it's a call against the umpire, there was a clip. I think you were there for this. The the Bulldogs, where I started against the Bulldogs at I think it was Clayton's Field, and one of the umpires was like, "That's a balk," and I said, "What do you mean?" Because the guy was stealing home, and I just threw it. I came set and I threw it. But I think you're going to be expected in that moment to yell like I did at first, but then just have a civil conversation about like what led you to that, like what
Mhm.
made you decide that that was the right call. I mean, we're all grown men. I mean, there's no okay, yeah, I shouldn't have said that. There's no shame in that.
Mhm.
I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I mean, it's just a men's league at the end of the day, but just have a conversation. There's a couple of guys well, umpires this year that's like, where the fuck did that miss? Were you even paying attention?
Yeah, and then the worst thing to hear is when you get back in the dugout and John tells me that, oh yeah, the umpire said, oh, I missed that one, and it's like, dude, you can't just be admitting to the fact that you just missed that call. And it was middle, like that's just ridiculous. But no, and I really tried this year when I was pitching to come off the mound and after the first inning or two and go up to the umpire and be like, hey, like what's your zone? Like what am I missing here? Because I've seen a couple pitches that I think are right there, so you know, from your perspective, you're the one calling this. Where am I missing? And a lot of them have been really nice. A lot of them have said like, "Oh, dude, you're just missing. Like you've got a lot of movement on your stuff. You're just missing pitches." And it's like, okay, like I can kind of respect that because at least I know that probably means you're calling that a 50-50 pitch, and that probably means that I'm going to get a couple of those calls as the game goes on, and I'm not really going to shy away from that spot necessarily. And then there's a couple of times where it's like, what are you calling? You're calling strikes at my knees or strikes at my, ankles. And like that doesn't even look like a strike. And then the next pitch is like straight in the zone and you're calling it a ball. And it's like, okay, now I don't even know what to do. And what kind of what civil conversation do I have with you at this point? Cause I have nothing good to say other than you kind of suck right now.
And I think that's where it gets a lot of people because the same shit that you're feeling, that umpire could just have a shitty ass day and just give you attitude, and that's what sets it off.
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
So
And we saw that actually with the same umpire who was at that softball game against the Tigers was the same umpire we had the week before against the Rattlers. Squirrels? I can't remember. I know where it was at. It was at it was at that school at that place. Why am I blanking? Carborough. We were at Carborough like the week before, And I was starting, and he came up to me afterward. He's like, dude, your stuff looks really good. Like, you've got a lot of movement on your pitches. And he had a pretty good zone and a pretty good day. And he was talking to us in the dugout after every inning. He was joking around with us. It was all going fine. And then we go into that game against the Tigers, and it's like, okay, this guy's, his zone's not perfect, but he did okay last game, and we all kind of know what to expect. And then he wanted to eject Ben, myself, Austin at some point. Like he was like ready to just throw us all out for just random things throughout the game because his zone was just so bad. And it's like, that part is the part that's frustrating to me in leagues like this.
And to touch on that, if you do like end up getting thrown out, it is a game suspension, which
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I can see, but I can also like not see. I think there should be like
Yeah, I mean,
an official ruling on it, like what led to it.
you should be able to appeal it with you should be able to appeal it like having the managers from both teams write the commissioner or something and explain what happened. Because like I know in that game against the Tigers, and not the Tigers are ever going to write anything nice about us to keep us from getting suspended, but especially when we played them the next game. But like in that game, like Ben was frustrated with the strike zone, and then he got hit on the backswing and he was upset, or I can't. I think that's what it was. I can't remember exactly. And then the umpire was getting on Ben about not being up far enough or something else like that. And he's like, dude, he's like hitting me with his backswing, and then getting into it through the umpire, and it was just, I know it was getting pretty nasty back there. And then I was frustrated with the strike zone because he called a ball that I thought was in the left-handed batter's box. He called it a strike, and so I fake swung at it because I was like, well, I'm not going to pretend like I didn't swing at this, just to kind of quietly without saying anything, kind of give him like a bit of an fu. And he stepped out from behind the plate and he was like, you want to go there? And I just didn't say anything to him because I knew if I turned around and said anything that he was going to have the reason he needed to throw me out of the game. And it was like, dude, that's where I was like, dude, we just had you last week. Like, why the change in attitude? Why the change in the strike zone? Like, we just had you last week and this was not the way you were acting at all. So that's where I would like to see, like I said, kind of that appeal process where you could have your manager and maybe the other manager say, hey, this is how it played out. The umpire kind of was in the wrong here.
Yeah, I think that doesn't hurt anything, but who knows at this point? I mean,
Yeah. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
no, and I say this every single time. People don't understand. Of course, the guy that runs the our league, entire league. So 50 plus, 60 plus, us. People don't understand. Of course, having him on the podcast, I got to pick his brain a little bit, and even after the podcast, people don't understand how much shit he goes through on a daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
and he plays in the leagues too.
Hmm.
So now, on top of hey, so and so got ejected, is you know what I'm saying, type shit,
Yeah.
and he now has to go back after his game, give that manager a call. That's why he took on that the Tigers game last year. That's why it took him so long to finally get back to I think it was Sean and have a ruling done for him because at the same time as our game was going on, their game just kicked off. So I definitely think that there should be not necessarily like a commissioner, but like somebody else that you can go to as well as those two
Mm-hmm.
people.
Yeah. I didn't know he played in the league. That's really cool.
Yeah, he played in the I think it was the 30 plus league last year,
Hmm.
which he's at least 50. Rob, no offense if you're listening. At least 50. So that's kind of crazy that he hung with the 30 cats.
Well, hey, we got our own resident old man on the team too. So
Oh yeah. So was this your first time playing at the athletic park this year?
that was really, really cool. Small dugout. That was really, really cool. I enjoyed that a lot.
Or what was your thoughts on that besides the small dugout? Like how'd that feel?
Um, a little sad that the mound was meh. That we had to step on tarp in front of the mound. That was a little sad. I understand there's probably preservation work that they're doing to make sure that we don't ruin the field. The dirt was nice. Like I said, I kind of misread that first ground ball that came my way because I wasn't sure how low or how hard it was going to go. It was just a tough read. Um, but it was really cool. It was very interesting. Kind of, I like history a lot, and so it was really kind of cool to see and be a part of a little bit of baseball history there.
That's how I first felt when I played um, in 22, I think it was. It's just like, holy shit, this is a part of history. I mean,
Yeah.
not to mention the Bull Durham movie, but
Hmm.
it's just the environment and everything that went on in that stadium at some point.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really cool. Small dugout though. Really small dugout.
Dude, watching everybody's reaction to that, because of course, I think me and Mikey and DJ and possibly Ryan. I'm not sure if he was there at that point, but we all knew going into that how small the dugout would be. So just seeing everybody else's reaction was like hysterical for me.
I've played in some very small dugouts. Back in Indy, I actually got to play at a place called Brunette Field, and it's where the Little League World Series regionals for the Great Lakes region used to take place. So very well maintained. It was bought or sold to the local high school, which is not local, or well, not like a public high school. It's the high school itself is called the Citadel, so that should probably tell you kind of some of the money they probably own. And they renovated it to be the size of a high school field, so it's a regular like 380 to center, 350 down the lines. But they didn't renovate the dugouts. And so as an adult playing in a dugout that was made for mostly 12-year-olds, I've hit my head on that dugout more times than I could count. So I'm used to small dugouts as far as height goes, but I'm not used to the bench that you sit on is pretty much even with the very first stair, and they're literally 2 inches apart from each other. Um, that was very very interesting.
Dude, I don't know if you remember me in that first game. I thought for sure somebody was gonna bust their ass that weekend.
Oh, absolutely. Wearing metal spikes and going down those really steep steps, and it was rainy and wet. And it was like, I 100% agree. I thought somebody was going to, and I think a couple of us almost did, where like a guy slipped and somebody caught them or they grabbed the railing. And it was like, that is dangerous.
And that railing wasn't as sturdy as everybody thought it was, too.
Absolutely not. I remember that kid came flying over for a foul ball, and I was like, dude, if you bowl this fence over, you're landing on Johnny Mack, and it is going to hurt both of you and probably him more because his head's going to slam on the bench or something.
Yeah, because I think I
That
was sitting
was
on top of the bench, too, so that made it even worse.
Yeah, that was crazy. That dude came barreling in.
Which, thankfully, he didn't actually, take out the whole fucking fence and shit. But,
Yes, no injuries this year. I don't think we had a single game with an injury. Maybe like a detrimental injury.
which, holy shit, like, that's good that we did it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because I
Very
know,
good. R.I.P. Dylan.
dude, it was so good to see him back this year for that one
Uh,
game.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
And then it's like, shit, we need you back for the rest of the way. Come on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and then yeah, I know. I understand it. Sucks because it's like, man, once you have a family and stuff, you know, it's. I mean, I know for like myself, like even just having my wife and dogs here, it's tough to get out for practices and do a lot of other stuff. It's like, okay, I can dedicate my time to the game, but then outside of that, I still have to spend my time with my family. I go to work for 8 9 hours a day, Monday through Friday, so my weekend is my time to spend with my family here too. So it gets tough. That's why
Yeah,
it's an adult league. That's why you need more people than just the 18 guys that it might take usually.
that's why I said, I think I told John this at some point during the season. Why not just set the roster to like 32 or 30? Shit, it would cut costs down, number one. Number
Mm-hmm.
two, who the hell cares if you have 20 guys show up? I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard at that point to get them all in, but you still struggle with that every week. With you only have 10, 11 guys showing up to begin with.
Yeah, and the thing I really like about these men's leagues is that anybody can go into the field at any time. I really like that. Besides, not counting pitchers, obviously we know the rule there. But I really do like that because, like I said, I know myself. I'm not usually a guy that hits well, so it's I would honestly, if we have 20 guys there, I don't care if the best 10 guys are hitting. I don't have to hit, but I will be playing the field almost every inning. And if somebody else wants to play a position, I can switch and go anywhere. I love playing the field. That's all I really kind of want to do most of the time because I suck at hitting. So for me, it's like I'd love to have 20 guys there because I feel good about our lineup. I want to see us get hits, but then I'm also going to go play the field. And I love that.
And I mean, I like the line share idea that they brought in this year.
I like that too a lot.
I mean, that helps out guys like me if we actually get on base. That we don't have to run and we don't have to use a pinch runner at that point.
Mm-hmm. No, agreed, agreed. I really do like that line shit. That was a really cool idea they brought in this year. We didn't really have enough guys to utilize it more, but I'd be curious to hear other teams how well they utilized it.
There was a rule that, to my knowledge, that somebody made fun of in the group chat. I'm not sure when it was. It had to be at the end of last season going into this one. And I wish they would actually consider it, but I understand the feedback on why they didn't actually like make it official. It was the metal bat one. So
Mm,
each player gets one. Each team gets one swing with the metal bat. That's it. Just one.
there'd be a very interesting and semi difficult rule to enforce. I feel like I don't know. It would be really interesting to see. By the time this comes out, it'll probably happen. I think, but it would be really interesting to see how it plays out in the home run derby that they're gonna do. Where I think it's 5 swings with wood and 5 swings with metal. It'd be interesting to see how guys kind of play with metal, to see if that would be something that they would actually consider. Because I love playing wood bat. I really do love it. Despite breaking 2 bats this year, I do love playing with wood bat.
I mean, even if it's just like the weaker guy on the team. I mean, that's still like, okay, well, when the fuck do you use it? Who the hell do you
Hmm.
give it to?
Hmm.
But like you said, I'm actually looking forward to the home run derby too.
Yeah, I want to
Um,
see how that plays out.
I'm so glad too that they switched it for this late in the year. Number one, but I'm happy they switched it to, what is it, Lee County now?
Oh, is it really interesting? I didn't see
So
that the message that it was at Lee County. I wish they kept the All Star game though. That would have been cool.
yeah, I mean, you could have easily rented that field out for like
Oh, definitely.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and got them all in. Well, the
Yeah,
50 plus had,
nobody's playing out there.
yeah, the 50 plus had their All Star game. So before we
Hmm.
kicked off the playoffs, they had theirs at the Bull at the athletic park on Friday.
Hmm.
So
Interesting.
I mean, you could have easily rented that field out for like 6 hours
Yeah.
and had a.
Yeah. I,
It's
it would
tough.
have been really cool to have an All Star game, but I am curious. I think is Austin representing us in the home run derby?
That I don't know.
I think he said he was going to do it because I think DJ said he was going to be incapacitated. So if it's Austin though, I don't know. I've seen his hitting lately, and not looking
Which
good.
I'll I will be out there to like to do some media stuff.
Hmm.
So I'm actually looking forward to it because I was like, is it gonna be weird if I show up and then, because I wasn't nominated this year for the All Star game. I mean, you and Ben were, what, the reserves,
I think so. I don't even remember. It was so many months ago now.
but I was like, why not just test this out and see how it works? Because I don't know if you listened, like I said earlier, to the podcast, but I want to actually go to the draft too and like do a behind the scenes thing on the draft.
That'd
But
be pretty cool.
I'm not sure how it's gonna work because like obviously I won't air the video until like a week after or something. But to get like certain teams' perspectives, I'm gonna have to give them the camera, or I don't even know how the fuck that's gonna work. Because I don't want them being like, oh, he's just using the info to go back to the Brews.
Yeah, I mean, what you could do, I don't know, this might be like a lot of work for you. But what you could do is you could kind of do like a just show up and like kind of like record the draft and like maybe interview the coaches that show up for the draft and just kind of be like, one on one with them, like, oh, like, are you willing to kind of share, what your team's looking for and stuff like that. And then it kind of ends up being like some PR for the league as well. Cause then if you put that out, with the league and you ask if you can, tag them or add them, or they can even put it on their site, then you kind of get like, they kind of get some free, like, hey, like, this is how it works and we're looking for people and this is a nice like kind of how to and how it goes, and comfortability for guys coming into the league. um and then I think that if you're just kind of interviewing the coaches and just saying like, hey, like, what, tell me how you feel, how your team's looking ready to prepare. I mean, we all kind of know each other in the league as well, so um I don't think, because as long as you kind of pull them off to the side, you're not revealing information, as long as you're not part of the draft, that they're going to then feel like you're taking their player that they wanted because you kind of heard from them. So you could maybe do it like that. That would be kind of interesting.
Or just wait and do it after. Like have them all stay for like, I don't
Yeah,
know, like
or
an
you could do that
hour
too. Yeah,
and
yeah,
just
not
pull them
yeah,
aside. Yeah.
yeah, something like that. That would be pretty cool. I like that idea.
And I like DJ's idea too, which I don't know who the fuck I gotta talk to try to get this to work, but DJ said to do um like a game of the week type thing for next season,
Hmm.
which I think would be actually cool because I'm experimenting with our season to see if people would actually watch the live streams on it.
Hmm.
So I don't know if you know who College Burnout is.
It sounds familiar.
So he plays at a men's league up in Georgia, but the way he films it is something I want to like set up because I want to have multiple camera angles. I want to
Hmm.
have one in the dugout. I want to have one behind the plate, and then one like down the line or something. But I think the live one would be behind the plate because that's what makes the most sense. And just do like a vlog type shit with the highlight video and include the dugout camera.
That's pretty cool.
But I hope like looking at it to get like well America's game of the week like the NFL does, but to get something like that would be awesome because then you
Yeah.
could actually sit there and be like, I could promote it on the podcast, be like, who the hell's gonna walk out? Like, imagine if we had it this year for when the Rattlers took on the Oaks when they were undefeated,
Yeah, that'd be pretty freaking sick.
and just looking back at that, being like, fuck, what the hell's gonna happen?
Yeah. Yeah, and then if you had the investment time doing like a mic, like a attachable mic or something like that, and then asking players on the teams to like wear it and switch it back and forth or something, that'd be pretty cool too. Kind of get like an on the field, audio of what's going on. I
See,
played with a guy in Indy who did that. It was kind of interesting. You're just like standing at second base, and he's like, "Oh, I'm live streaming this. Like, say hello." It was kind of cool.
see, I want to do that, and I'm actually looking at like the different mic packs, but there's none of them that I'm looking at that have like that range with the iPhone.
Mm,
So
mm.
that's why I'm trying to get a camera for it. The original plan was
Interesting.
to just to give the GoPro to somebody and have them wear it during the game,
That's pretty cool too.
but everybody was like, I don't know how I feel because if I break it, then I'm like, dog. That GoPro ain't
It's a
getting broken.
GoPro. Yeah. I know. I was like, that's a GoPro. That's not gonna break. I've always wanted to get a GoPro.
Dude, they're so like, if you have the right angle, it's so great. Just to be able to
Yeah.
getting the clips is the hard part because you have to have the app to get them on your phone or on your
Mm.
computer if you don't have the SD card reader,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a pain in the ass. But other than that, it's. I think I bought mine for like, I think it was like 300 at the time, and it's the best thing ever.
I want to get one of the. I want to get one with the chest strap so I can like record when I go fishing and stuff like that.
Dude, I have that attachment because I went on Amazon and I bought like a accessory bundle,
Oh,
and
cool.
in that was the chest strap, but also it had the headband on it. But I
Mm.
don't like wearing the headband. That's why I put the clip on the hat. Because the
Yeah. Yeah.
headband, I did that for the Macaira season, and it just like showed up because of the mound.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, fuck, this is gonna look weird.
I feel like the clip definitely is it like way more secure and much better.
Oh yeah, and like I can adjust the hat too. So even if it's tight, if it's weighing it down, I can still just fix it and not worry about, oh
Mm.
shit, did I get the angle right, or it's good to go on that point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love the GoPro. I love looking back at like the games that you have recorded for us and stuff. Like last year, I sent the triple play to like every single person I know. I was like, "Yo, look at this triple play." I'm like
Yo,
right here, this timestamp. I was like, "Listen,
that's your
like
play, bro.
first one I've ever turned in my life. It's the coolest thing ever."
Dude, and like
I feel like I barely had any ground balls hit towards me this year compared to that.
to have that against the Oaks too, I don't think there was a bigger like response, a great response, than having the Oaks be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it honestly, if you would have had anybody else, you know something was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I know that was crazy too because then they turned a double play when we had bases loaded or whatever the very next inning. So just the back and forth there was awesome. We played really, really good against them that day.
I forget who said it, but somebody was the third base coach looks over at me, looks over at Evan, and was like, "Johnny, did you fucking get that on camera?" I was like, "Yeah, it's up there," and I pointed.
That's pretty sick. Yeah, that was my highlight of last year.
What was the highlight of this year?
Oh, I would have to say the Squirrels game that I pitched 6 or 7 innings and I had like 8 or 9 strikeouts. Like over 50% of my strikeouts on the season came in that one game. Um, and I was pitching really, really well against them until like I think I threw like 6 and a third, and then all of a sudden they had like 4 straight singles off of me, and that was kind of what ruined it. But that was probably my best performance and my favorite game of this year or my favorite highlight of this year for me personally. As a team highlight, ooh, as a team highlight, I would say Brock's walk off
I was
was
just about to say,
was
there's only one answer to this.
yeah, Brock's walk off. But that like that strung Brock into like a master of opposite field hits that just nobody could stop. It was like if you needed an RBI with men on base, the guy that was going to go up there and get it was going to be Brock, and it was going to be down the right field line like every single time for like 3 or 4 games after that. And even in the playoffs, he ended up coming through with another one or two there as well. So um, that was pretty early on in the season, I think. And it felt like after that, it was just like, oh man, we got runners at second and third with 2 outs. It's like, who do I want at the plate? And it's like, you know who I want? I want Brock. I want Brock.
I'll never forget DJ's reaction just after that game. It was like, he looks at me, he goes, "Sorry, Johnny, for what I'm about to say, but that was better than your walk off." I was like, finally, somebody just takes it away from me. I didn't want that anymore.
Yeah, Yeah, that was a really really cool moment. That strung that spurred the fish on too, because I think that was the first game he showed up with the fish hat. Maybe the second game.
And that fish hat was just there for the rest of the season.
I that whole entire that fish hat was the whole reason why I was like we should rename to like the Marlins or something, or just the fish. We should just be the fish, just the fish.
So funny story, actually. I'm glad that you actually brought up Marlins. That's what the original idea for this team was supposed to be in 22.
Mm,
But the same company that we used to get the jerseys off of Amazon wouldn't allow Marlins on the lettering.
interesting.
So we had to come up with an idea, and shout out to Dan because I don't think nobody would have thought of this. He looked up like a Greek way to say Marlin, or like a Latin way or something, and it came out to Makairos, and
Oh,
and that was just our name from there. I'm so glad we changed it. I'm so glad.
Makira is very interesting, but I don't know. I've played on a team that was called the Marlins, and it was pretty cool. So I'd also be partial to bringing back the Marlins.
I mean, as long as it's like that, the the baby blue, I'm
Mm-hmm.
cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, yeah. We don't need to go into the red. No reds. Um, no blacks. It's too hot around here to play in black. When the Bulldogs showed up last year wearing black jerseys and black pants, I actually asked them if they were insane. It was a 95 degree. No, it was 98 and felt like 105, and it was a 3 o'clock start time, and they show up wearing all black uniforms, and I was like, that sounds like torture. And then of course they only had one white guy on the team too, so I was like, your whole team hates you. Like I don't know why you're doing this. That's just not fair to them.
Dude, and to make things worse, that was the football score game.
Yeah, it was. That was the game that I pretty much came home and was like, my arm is messed up because I came home and I closed the door and I pretty much just slid down the like in a movie. I just like slid down the back of the door and like crumpled into a heap and I was like, I am in so much pain. Something is not okay.
Dude, I looked at Sean because Malcolm got hurt with the foul ball off his foot.
Mm,
And literally, I think at the time that we only had one sub. And Sean
yeah.
goes, "You're going to have to go play second for a little bit." I looked at Sean and I said, "Please don't make me."
Yeah, that game was brutal. 8 22 to 18. Won't forget that score.
Dude, and it didn't start out like that. It just, as everybody just got tired, it just, the score kept going.
Yeah. We put up 9 in the first and then we gave up like 8 in the second. It was like what the heck?
Yeah. And I started that game too. I'll never forget
You
that
did.
shit.
I think you pitched, I pitched, and then somebody else pitched. Austin wasn't there that day. Can't remember who else it was. Might
Thomas,
have
I
been
think?
Sean or something. Yeah, it might have been Thomas.
Thomas,
But yeah,
yeah,
that
Thomas had
was
like that half of an inning with that.
yeah, that was a brutal game.
I never want that to happen again in my life.
No way, no way. It's tough. That's been a huge transition for me around here is playing in the heat. I've played in some heat back home and stuff, but nothing like the Southern North Carolina sun and heat.
See, I want to get your reaction to this. Everybody asked me from being from Jersey, like, what's the difference? And I would always say the heat, number one. But more importantly, if it's 100 in Jersey, I can at least wear black. It's hot, but it's more muggy hot
Mm-hmm.
compared to here, which is just like, no, I'm just dead instantly.
Yeah, that's been a tough transition. I walk out my door to go to work at like 8 a.m. and it's like walking into a wet blanket and it's like 85, 88 degrees and it's 7:15 in the morning and that is just like what the heck is this BS? Like that is just not fun at all. I agree. I like even in Michigan it's like it's 110 and it's like it's actually like 99, 100 and it feels like 110 and it's just kind of humid. Here it's a different kind of heat and the sun is just brutal around here. That has definitely been a huge transition. My biggest difference though is honestly how green it is around here. Like I mean, I grew up in like Metro Detroit and went down to Detroit a lot and stuff, and so very much like a concrete jungle. Even like my in-laws came down here, and it's like it's so green. Like there's just trees everywhere, and I that is really 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 cool.
See, around here it's just woods.
But I
The-
like that. I like to see places where civilization has incorporated into nature instead of seeing where civilization has taken over nature. And that's a lot of their major cities, most places, and I don't see that a lot around here. Now it's probably going to get there in Raleigh because it's just trying to expand so much and so fast that I'm sure eventually there's not going to be as much beautiful greenness around here. I really hope that's not the case. Um, but coming from a metropolitan area, that's definitely how I grew up, and so you had to go pretty far north to kind of get that greenery and trees and everything, and it's kind of cool that it's like right outside my door now.
See, where I grew up wasn't necessarily like green, like you were saying, but it wasn't such like a city population.
Mm.
So like seeing the city population, and I tell people this all the time. I'm more of a city guy, but the one thing I cannot stand is the traffic.
Yeah.
Why is it takes 10 minutes to get around the block, but when you get in the car it's like 45 to an hour.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I not never been a huge fan of that coming from city life. That's I honestly kind of really enjoy that about a lot of the places that we play is that it's a different like I just get in the car and it's like 30 minutes of just straight driving on like the freeway. It's like, whoa, like we're not really playing that close or whatever. Um versus like even in Indy, um it would be like, oh, I'm driving 15 miles away and it's going to take me 40-45 minutes because I live downtown or something like that. It's like, wow, this city traffic just is BS even on a Sunday.
And like, what are you guys doing on a Sunday that it's taking me this long?
I know, I know. It's like where what kind of population lives here that you're out on a Sunday? Go home.
Oh, rest, watch some football, watch anything. Do something.
Exactly. Just get out of my way.
um what was the one thing that you wish that you could change from the league now being what your second year going on your third?
Hmm.
What's the one thing that you would
Um,
change?
I don't know. I really liked it this year. I liked the 16 games, double elimination playoffs. We got to play in a really cool place. I don't really know if there's anything I would specifically change. And I don't know maybe the flexibility of like game scheduling, but maybe that would be the only one where it's like if we had more ability, more freedom to kind of be like, hey, can we play a Friday night here? Can we play a Saturday there? Like Sundays are nice, but to get more guys to the games, that would kind of be nice to have a little bit more maybe freedom in scheduling. And I'm not, I just don't know the league and I don't know what the managers go through. So maybe that is there and it's just not feasible to do that. So I don't know. But just to get more guys out because that's the unfortunate part about just playing in men's leagues.
See, I think you hit the nail on top of the head. I mean, to have like, especially during Easter, like that weekend, to be able to have a game on a Friday instead of course, not
Mm-hmm.
being able to play on a Sunday. But were you a fan of the 18 games, or do you think that number should be like a little higher, or do you think it's perfect where it's at?
I mean, I'll always play more baseball. You don't have to twist my arm. I'll always play more baseball. I think 16 or 18 is kind of probably a sweet spot as far as like getting guys out, keeping guys not from being injured, and you're only playing once a week. You mix in a couple of double headers, it gets really difficult to get more guys out there, especially pitchers, as we've talked. Um, I think that's the only way you make more games in a schedule is to either play way deeper into the season, which also not opposed because it's so hot around here anyway. So, what would be the difference if we played and finished in September versus played and finished in October? Um, but I think with still playing games once a week, I think 16 to 18 is probably that sweet spot to go from the April timeframe all the way down to September.
Did you like the playoff format this year?
I actually really did. I really did like the playoff format this year. I like the double elimination. I feel like it gave us a chance, being the last team in, to kind of make a run at it. Um, we didn't, but it gave us the opportunity, and I like that.
See, I like that, but I will always push for this. I said it in DJ's episode, which for us goes out this week, but it's already out. Surprise. But um I think that we should have two divisions, and I think that it should be the National League, which should be the top 5 or top 6, and the American League. So like I think we should push it up to 12 teams. I have 6 in the National League, 6 in the American League. But if you finish last in the National League, you're demoted to the American League. And if you finish top of the American League, you're promoted to the National League. I think that's a really good idea.
How would you have the playoffs work?
Playoffs would be there wouldn't be a first round bye. So unless it's the second round. I mean, I haven't really thought about that. But if you get through the league championship, so the National League or the American League, then you have the option of going to like a World Series game with the other
Hmm.
winner. So that way, if you want to extend your season, you can. It's not going to be hurting anything. But also, if you just don't want to, then okay, you don't have to.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, it worked for the one that we actually won the American League championship on,
Hmm.
but then there was like nothing after that. So it was kind of like, well, what do we do now?
I like that idea. That'd be pretty cool, having the teams play each other, and then you know jump across and play the other guys for a game. That'd be pretty cool.
And of course, you could keep the same scheduling, like you play twice or whatever every team or whatever you want to do, but
Hmm.
I think that way there's more competition and the games actually mean more.
Yeah. Or even play everybody in your division 3 times, and then play everybody in the other division just once, so you kind of see each other, but you don't have to. I know it's like it would be a little bit more of a surprise at the end of the year.
Exactly. And because now I'm not saying like things completely did a 180 this year, but having surprise teams actually make it, like the Bulldogs, they were last season they were last place in the league.
Hmm.
Then having, of course, the Oaks, the Tigers, the Rattlers, the Tri Sox, those top 5 never really change, or those top 4. So it's always that 5th seed that like either has a hell of a year or falls off.
Yeah.
So I think having that competition to still stay the same. I mean, the top 5 can compete every single year. There's no, I mean, everybody can, but I feel like they make it farther than what the bottom 4 or the bottom 5 do.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, it gives everybody a shot to, I don't know, to have a magical season.
I like that idea.
I mean, having the draft too, like now actually understanding how the draft works through Harley, I honestly think to do like go back to what we were talking about with the media aspect, is to do something with the draft too.
Hmm.
Like, hey, you drafted this guy, like put it on your Instagram story. Welcome so and so to whoever,
Yeah.
or just get a bunch of guys and bunch of guys, get a bunch of the managers in a call on Discord and just live stream it.
Hmm. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Because I mean, at least for me, having the amount of people we did for the first playoff game, it felt like more of a crowd than it did the entire season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And like I think that's what this league is missing. And of course, I think DJ touched on it. You're not going to get guys out to uh, a, a men's league to watch, but to have like eyes on it. And I think that's what most people like when I do the game highlights and shit, because it's out there for other people to see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just a thought. I mean,
No, I definitely I like the ideas. I think that it could definitely use more media presence with the league, one way or another. However you decide to do it, the league decides to do it. I like the idea. Um, yeah, that was like a big crowd for the first game at the playoffs, and getting to play at a place like that, I think, really helped as well. That was really really cool.
it felt like more like a baseball game too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
I don't know. I feel like another thing I wanted to ask you: do you think like there should be like certain places like a home stadium type shit, but like a home field for teams, or do you think just if you get the field, you get the field?
think it's difficult to make it a home field necessarily. I mean, I think most teams have a field that they prefer to play on because it's easiest to get the most amount of players there. I know that's why we like Bond a lot. It's typically the easiest for us to get players there for Bond Park. I mean, that de facto kind of has become our home field in a way. And I know a lot of other teams are kind of the same way. I think it's just because of scheduling fields. I think that's kind of difficult to maintain. It's a strict like this is our home field. What I don't like is the freedom of picking other fields, and that kind of goes back to our conversation of like playing on a random softball field. But also the Nightingale Park that we ended up getting rained out of and then didn't have to play there. I'd never been there. I don't. Maybe that's a nice field. I actually don't know. But like it would kind of be nice if the league was like, these are the fields we prefer you use. If we need to make up a game, these are the other fields that we might be okay with you using. But like these are the fields that you should primarily be using every single week. And if you have to play 2 or 3 games on a field and play later into the day, so be it. I think just avoiding playing on the softball fields that are around is would be the nicest part. Let's play baseball on baseball fields.
Yeah, I don't understand how they got away with that. Like thinking about
I
that.
don't either. I don't either, and I don't know how it works, but it would be really nice if the commissioners could be like, "These are the fields we want you to use." We've talked with Raleigh, we've talked with whatever counties or cities that we can play in, and these are the fields that we are okay with you using, and these are the fields that they will try to have us available to use or whatever it is. Um, yeah, because then even like our game that we had to schedule at Green Hope Park or whatever it was, like we didn't even start the game an hour. We started the game an hour late or an hour and a half late, if that, because we had to go scoop sand from a volleyball court, to then fill in holes behind second base because it's April and it's raining like crazy. It's just like, at that point, why are we playing on that field? Like we're the one thing that I really like about a lot of the fields that I've played on and that we get to play on, that I've played on at other places, is that we are playing baseball. It is a men's league. The requirements should be minimum of 320-ish foot fence down the line. Let's not talk 300 in center. That's BS. But then a grass infield and like just okay maintenance. Like it doesn't have to be a perfect field, but like we should be playing on grass infields with actual mounds, not turf rollout mounds. We should be playing, with fences that are actually 320 feet. I don't care that we're using a wood bat. Like a 300-foot fly ball is going to be an out in most fields, and it should not be a home run. But yeah, I mean, those are just, I feel like, basic requirements. We're all adults playing in a league that we're paying to play in, and we should be playing on at least, in my opinion, decent fields.
I mean, I started laughing. I don't know if you could see that because the whole fucking volleyball shit. I should have fucking recorded that.
I mean, I think Ben, and I can't remember who else it was now, were primarily the runners, where it was just like we poured the bucket out, go get more sand. We poured the bucket out, go get more sand. I think I carried like 5 buckets, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not carrying any more buckets. I'll start raking. I'm not carrying any more buckets. That was insane. I mean,
Didn't Sean go and buy a rake too?
he went and bought a rake and a broom. We shared a dugout with the Cardinals. They put their stuff behind our dugout. We had to step on a pallet that was in front of the dugout to get on the field because it was in a literal lake that was in front of the dugout. I mean, it was just we just shouldn't have probably played that game, to be honest, and it was annoying, stupid, and frustrating. Um, but yeah, I mean, and I don't. John, I know, is the one that scheduled that. So John, if you're listening, I in no means am trying to, you know, diss on you for scheduling that field. Obviously, there's only certain things you can do, and we had to play a game, and that was a field that was available. But that goes back to kind of what I was saying, where the league should be like, these are the fields we prefer you use. If they're not available, let's try to make something else work. Whether and especially with the rain that had hit, like, can we make this game up somewhere else? Can we make it a doubleheader? Can we move it to a Saturday? Like, what can we do to kind of make that work?
Well, that's the whole thing too. And like again, going back to shit that happens outside that people don't usually see. There's been plenty of fields that we've gotten, I guess, kicked out of or banned because of shit that happens after the game.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that kind of popping up this year.
I mean, Holly Springs used to be a staple of the where the Tri Sox played games, and that got taken away because of not only the apartment buildings that went up, and people were complaining that they got hit with foul balls. I don't understand how that's possible, but but also because there was, from my, again, this is what I've heard, so this is a rumor of people getting hammered in the parking lot or getting hammered in the dugout or smoking in the dugouts. So they just said, "Fuck this shit. Nobody's playing except for the high school here."
Yep. Unfortunate part of playing at the schools and stuff is that you do have to watch what you're doing and who's doing it and stuff like that. And that again kind of goes back to the conduct around the league and how do we get a better culture around that, which is unfortunate.
I mean, I don't think, of course, I wasn't involved as much as this year with emails and stuff because Rob put me in there. I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. I don't think there's ever been an incident that there's been multiple emails sent out throughout the year of the same shit that happens. He sent out at least 3 this year about you guys cannot be drinking and smoking in the dugouts on school property.
Yeah. Yeah. Do it at Bond Park. Don't do it at Carborough High School.
It's just crazy to me too. And it's like that's why, of course, I'm not gonna get into it, but that's why I got so heated when you guys played that softball game at frickin' with the Tigers. And
Mm-hmm.
then hearing like, oh well, their guys are getting hammered during the game and after and in between innings and everything else.
Well, and most of those guys played in the game before that, and they were picking up a whole entire black garbage bag full of alcoholic beverages after that game, and they stayed behind and played in our game. So I'm sure many of them were not in the best state of mind. Or maybe for playing baseball, that is the right state of mind.
Yeah, who knows at that point? But especially with this league, like you said, everybody was, I guess, on edge. So what happens if the guy pitching is drinking and gets pissed off and just says "fuck you"? I'm throwing at you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't lead to a bunch of injuries. I don't know if anybody's really. I mean, you can still get massively hurt, but hopefully nobody's really throwing hard enough to do real damage.
I mean, again, that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I mean, who's going to break it up if that actually does happen?
Yeah.
Because I'm getting the fuck out of there.
No, yeah, I'm not getting into that.
I love y'all to death, a part of this team, but I'm not going to jail for some stupid shit.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I'll be the one sitting there recording this shit. I don't know if I told you, but there, me and Jamari had this thing that because, of course, the last time you guys played the Bulldogs, there was a little bit of chippiness going on. I heard, and I said to Jamari, if that ever happens, just know I'm coming to you and I'm acting like I'm gonna fight you, but I'm not going to. So I'll just sit there, grab his jersey, and be like, "Hey, buddy, how's it going?" But again,
Just
going back to that, that's the beauty of this league too, as far as you get to know people. But what were you
yeah,
saying?
I've gotten to know a lot. I was just gonna say, just the fake fight, just pretend like it's happening so that nobody else is coming up to do anything else. But no, I mean, yeah, it is kind of cool when you get to know everybody pretty well in this league. Um, I don't know. I'm excited for next year to see. Now it'll be my third year to kind of see what it's like really knowing these guys.
So as we start to wrap things up, I am asking everybody that's on this podcast this year two questions. Do you think there should be more team bonding this year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have any ideas on what that should be, or
Um, I don't know. I know a lot of guys. They go out and they go, drinking and doing a bunch of stuff. Always down for that. I had a lot of fun when we went out to your baseball game. That was an absolute blast. I would love to see more guys getting together to go to like Bulls games, Woodpeckers games. Shoot, making a trip out to see the spiders would be kind of cool. Maybe the Mudcats, although the Mudcats are moving. I forgot they said that.
yeah, that's
Um,
sad.
yeah, but that I think, I mean, we all love baseball, so going to see more baseball, but that's in season as well, which can be a little more difficult. Outside of season, I don't know, getting together for more practices would be cool, and going to grab some food and stuff like that. And I know I'm one of the biggest offenders because, like I said, half the time I'm usually like, you know, I'll see you guys later. I've got stuff I've got to go get done, unfortunately. So I have been trying to make more time so I can do a little more of that. But I do think it would be nice to get more team bonding going. Always down for it.
So Teddy suggested that we go karting.
Oh, that'd be so much fun. I'm gonna smoke everybody. I'm calling it now. I'm smoking everybody, and I'm crashing Austin. I'm just telling you right now.
What the fuck, RJ?
I'm just telling you now. I'm so competitive. I went just a little anecdotal story. I went go karting with my wife's family when they came and visited us. We went to Rush Hour, and she was giving me crap afterward because she's like, "Why are you so competitive?" Because it's just me, her dad, and her brother. We're the only three on the entire track, and I'm just ripping through the track trying to put the fastest lap time down. I'm passing them all. There's only three of us on the entire track, and I'm trying to lap everybody as fast as I can. And she's like, "Can you calm down? Like, you don't have to be competitive." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're not going to put me behind the wheel of something and tell me not to be competitive. Like, that's just not happening." So I would totally be down to go kart, and you better watch out.
So
That's all I gotta say.
I brought up there's two things going on that phenomenal if we can get people out to. But the one would be the Marksman, the Fayetteville Marksman. It's a hockey game. That goes. I think it's in December. I think, but it's Girl Scout night, which my nieces are part of Girl Scouts. Which my sister gets tickets to uh, the Girl Scout night for like a discounted rate. So that would be kind of cool. But also, I gotta find the time to put it out in the group chat. These two ideas, but my sister has a surprise party coming up, which I'm not gonna say too much. But she told me I can invite the team if I wanted to, which would be nice if we could get something like that going.
Heck yeah.
But I I'm in favor of like team bonding shit because I don't know. There's nothing better than after the game too, just going up to a bar and having bar food and just sitting down and relaxing for a little bit.
Hmm.
I've only done it once with this team, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, yeah, I don't think I even made it out to a lunch after a game this year. Partly because we had a new dog, so if my wife brought our dog, we had to take the dog home, and then if we didn't bring our dog, um, the dog was sitting here, and she is like 1 year old dog, and so trying to make sure that we didn't have any accidents in the house is was pretty difficult this year. Um, but yeah, no, I definitely am down for more team bonding. Always down for more team bonding.
And the third thing was I was gonna say was, do you have your notifications off for the group chat?
I do not. I have them on.
So I don't know if you saw me pick up my phone and start laughing, but Evan goes in the group chat. He goes, "Do you guys hear that? RJ likes fucking dudes."
I don't. I mean, if he's the power bottom, that's fine by me.
Oh shit! This
He
is
can
another.
he can be the he can be the power bottom anytime.
I say this in every single episode. I wish there was like a way just to have people look at the group chat and just see the amount of shit that goes on in this group chat on a daily basis.
There is that we were talking about before. There's a lot of like I said, I think it's a lot of it's a friends group chat. It's not just a team group chat. It's very much become a friends group chat.
And another thing I wanted to bring to your attention before we start wrapping things up, because it's been quite a bit, but where the hell did you and Austin come out of nowhere from? With you guys' banner?
I don't know. I just it just have I feel like it just happened organically, you know? It's he I feel like he thinks that, he's the best player on planet Earth, and got to knock him down a few rungs, Can't let him get away with that. Um he also has poor taste in the city that he roots for, so got to make sure that he's aware of how trash they are. Um just gotta keep him humble. That's all I'm trying to do. Keep everybody humble. So Austin seems to need it a little bit more than others.
I spoke to him about it in his podcast, which I'm sure you'll listen to when it comes out. But just being on that bench and just hearing out of nowhere you two start had to be the highlight of the season.
I don't know. It's probably very unhealthy, but my favorite, joking around with friends has always kind of been like the meaner I am to you, the more I like you. Um, and that probably rang true the most this year. I love Austin to death. I'll make every single play I can for him behind him, and I'll play as hard as I can for him any day of the week. But at the same time, like I said, just jokingly, I love to try and keep him humble, and the fact that he can turn around and give back just as much just makes it, I feel like, very organic. I show up to a game and he goes, "Oh great, now we lost, RJ's here," and it's like, what are you talking about? Aren't you starting today? Like, that's an L in the book already. So it feels like it just was so organic. And it didn't, it doesn't take a lot of effort, because it's just so fun. And I feel like everybody, when there's another aspect to it, that I feel like when everybody else around us sees and sees two of the best players on the team giving it to each other, but having fun, but loving being there and playing their hearts out for each other, I feel like it makes everybody else around us even better, and it takes away from anything that they do and anything else that happens on the field, to know that we might still give each other crap for it, but we still love each other at the end of the day, and there's no hate, there's no animosity there. I feel like that's a distraction that could be very useful and very meaningful, and I feel like that's kind of what I'm getting at a lot of the times there.
And you didn't expect it from Austin. Now, you kind of give up a vibe like it's going to eventually
Oh,
happen with
yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
But you just didn't expect it from Austin because of how quiet he was first being on the team and just seeing how quiet he can slowly become. So, hearing that shit, oh my god. That shit was funny as hell this season.
Yeah, I feel like Austin gave it back enough. I feel like I, unintentionally was trying to pull Zach into it, just because of playing first base and probably making him make errors, and just blaming it on him because that's just fun. But I feel like Austin just started giving it back so much that it just made it easy. And don't get me wrong, I still like to tell Zach he's the worst first baseman in the league. Um, but that probably goes without saying.
So, who do you think, besides yourself and besides Austin, obviously, who do you think is the funniest on the team?
Oh, probably Brock. Brock just comes up with just some random crap. But Teddy came out swinging this year. Maybe by proxy of Teddy being at maybe a couple more games than Brock. Teddy is a pretty funny guy.
Did you hear his podcast?
I have not yet.
Bro, that shit is funny. So, I tell this story. So, before everybody gets on, before we start recording, I obviously, like I did with you tonight, I just sit there as I'm fiddling around with the settings and shit, have a conversation. And before I could start with Teddy, it was, I just want to let you know Devin's a bitch. I was like, bro, we're not even starting yet. What the hell?
Uh,
I'm like, holy shit, Teddy, dog. This is going to be a long night. And he goes, yeah, I'm about 3 beers in, so we'll see how well this goes.
That's Teddy.
I was like, yeah, nobody else I think I would rather have on like the very beginning of the podcast than Teddy.
Teddy is hilarious. Teddy is absolutely hilarious.
Get the serious ones out of the way and then bring on the jokesters.
Yeah, you got to mix him in.
Exactly. Um, Now our last question is going to be: do you think that we break the curse next season, and what are you looking forward to the most next season?
Um, I do think we do. I think we break it, and I think what I'm looking forward to the most is probably just getting better. I think that we left a lot on the table this year, and I don't think that's necessarily characteristically us. I think John and Austin and a lot of the other guys on the team want to get better, and I think that there's going to be a big effort this year to get better in the off season, and that's just going to translate into next year. And I think maybe we pick up a piece or two in the draft, and I think we get on a roll. I think we get on a roll and we just keep going. I don't think there's any reason why we can't be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in this league. Um, we play like that. We even play like the Rattlers, who are 1 or 2 or whatever. We played them super well. Um, and I don't see any reason why we can't beat those teams. If another ball goes our way, or we get another hit that we didn't have elsewhere. So that's what I'm looking forward to the most. Is I think I see a lot of promise and a lot of potential effort to get better, and I think that there's going to be a different team or a different team walking away next year at the end of the year in a much better spot with a much better season.
Well, that was perfectly said. Who PR trained you?
Thank you. The shower, all the conversations I have with myself in the shower and in the mirror. That's what PR training is.
At least somebody finally admits it.
I know I'm not the only one doing it. I'm just the only one sane enough to admit it.
Oh yeah. Well, RJ, I appreciate you coming on. Is there anything that you want to say, like in closing remarks, other than what you just said?
No, I think we've covered it all. I appreciate being on here. I'm glad to finally air the dirty laundry about how dirty Austin is. Um, and next season, hopefully we have a better year, less innings pitched by Austin, more by me. Maybe a few more at bats go to the players that can actually hit, unlike Austin. Um, just I think that's all I have in closing remarks. He told me not to slander his name. He told me he didn't slander my name. I haven't listened to it yet, but I don't know if I believe him. So I had to get a couple of last ones in.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's gonna be, he's gonna have something to say to me too. So at the end of his podcast, he goes, "You see how I didn't slander RJ at all? I had everything nice to say about him. Watch him come on here and just start dogging the shit out."
I said everything. I said plenty of nice things about Austin. That my closing remarks had to include a couple.
And I was like, well, I mean, you know, you could see when we're online and recording the episode on Discord. Why don't you just pop in and just?
He said he might try. He said he might try to, but thankfully he hasn't.
No, and I'm not. I'm not gonna be the one to text and be like, "Yeah, come get RJ."
No, I'm not either.
Oh, RJ, I appreciate you coming on. And
Thanks for having me, Johnny.
yeah, hopefully at some point run into you down the road again.
Absolutely. We'll definitely get more team things going.
Before next season, that is.
Yeah.
Well, all right. I'm gonna end this. So, thanks guys for listening. I know it's been what 2 hours, RJ? But if you guys would check out the links down in the description below, go cop the merch, support the brews, get yourself some Johnny Mac merch too as well. Go follow the brews on Instagram. Go follow me on Instagram. Go follow the Brew Talk on Instagram. Everything's linked down in the description below. And guys, we'll catch you in I think episode 6, which are now Mondays at 12 o'clock. So I'll see you guys then. Yeah, I can figure out how to freaking